Hello YouTube and welcome back to another tutorial of how to model your house in 3D. Today we'll be installing the long-awaited Blender 3.0. I was actually planning to wait for a Blender 3.1 to come out. Unfortunately, I think it's gonna come in the new year. So let's just start by downloading Blender from the Blender website. So make sure that you are downloading the correct version for your OS and click on the download button. And of course, remember to put it in a place that you're going to remember, because you're going to have to click on that MSI file later on. Once the file has been downloaded, please double click on the MSI file that you get and you will see this pop up where you can just click on next and accept all agreement because you have no choice. And that's how you're going to install Blender 3.0. So this is an optional step and you might want to uninstall Blender 2.93.1 or an older version that you have, because installing a new Blender version, it sort of doesn't overwrite the previous Blender version that you had, so you have to manually uninstall it yourself. You can always do that at a later stage, but I'm going to do it first. The next step in the installation, we are going to install one more software called Blenderkit, and this is the awesome software that I actually use to drag and drop my assets into the house. So like your tables, chairs, the tissue box, all this is from Blenderkit. So we are going to have to download it from the website because we're using Blender 3.0. If you're on a version which is less than 3.0, you do not need to do this step. But we are going for Blender 3.0 from here on, so we are going to have to download this third-party plugin separately. So with everything installed, we are going to open Blender for the first time, Blender 3.0 of course, and we are going to leave all the settings as is, as you can see here. And then we're just going to go to General File and we're going to go into the Edit, Preferences, and go to navigate to the add-ons button, and then we are going to press the install button and make sure you navigate to where you downloaded that Blenderkit zip file, and we're just going to select the zip file and then just press install add-on. And now we see it here, we just have to check the checkbox on to enable it, and we're going to press OK. And I'm going to click down on the drop down box and we're going to leave everything default except change the global directory. So I wanted to quickly jump into this visual guide of how to organize your files and where Blenderkit is going to put in all your assets. So imagine you have done all this work and you basically have this project folder with your house thing. So maybe, the main folder name is called house, and then inside this folder you split into subfolders. And basically when you install Blenderkit, you want to set this one as the global directory because it will create another subfolder called assets inside it, and this is where they are going to put all the 3D assets that you drag and drop from the cloud onto your 3D model. And ideally, you kind of want like your 3D files to your .blend files to be under the same house folder. So I guess you could create another folder called 3D where you can put all your .blend files, which is your 3D files. Because if you want to transfer this whole package out to another PC to render or something, you just have to transfer this main file. And everything inside will just stay where it is. So when you open the blend file in this folder in the new PC, it will automatically just find where the asset is from, which is from this folder. So make sure everything is under one main folder. And basically you are done once you select the folder. You can close out the window and you can see that Blenderkit is now in your viewport. Just click on the filter button and select free first. And this will basically sort all the free models for you first when you start searching for it. So let's just quickly jump in and see how to use this software. Alright, so we're starting with the Clementi Pix version 6 file, and this is where basically we left off, where we actually check the normals to make sure everything is alright. This looks correct. We have the ceiling in, everything's all done. So make sure that you have Blenderkit installed, and under add-ons, make sure this guy is ticked on. Everything should be the same. Your global files directory should not have changed. If you have a plan with Blenderkit, you may log in here. If you want to use the free version, please go ahead, carry on. And as you can see in the viewport, on the top corner of the viewport, there is this things going on here. There are several icons, and then there's this search bar and an eye and this little filter right here. We're just gonna select on the filter and we're gonna press free first, and basically it's gonna load a bunch of stuff. If you want to quicken this process, just turn off the eye so it will just stop slowing down your PC, because sometimes it actually slows it down by quite a bit. And now we are going to put some nice furniture into our model. So let me just search for sofa and press enter, and as you can see, these are all the free models. And as you can see, the moment I start scrolling on and on and on, we are going to start to get all these locked signs, and this represents the paid models. But as you can see, there's actually plenty to choose from the free models, and sort of most of the models that I've come across are actually modeled to scale. So it shouldn't, you shouldn't be in a situation where you drag and drop this guy and this sofa is as big as the house, because we actually modeled the house to scale, so that shouldn't happen. Alright, so how do we just drag and drop? We can just drag and drop it here, but unfortunately what's going to happen if we do that is that it's going to land on top of the ceiling, because we actually have the ceiling here. So we will have to move our camera down into the house and then drag and drop. So let's just take a look. I really like this sofa. I'm just going to click on this one, drag and drop. And before I release my mouse, you can see it shows you this like rectangle, and it basically gives you an estimate of what the size of the sofa is in relation to your house. So I'm just going to align it here like this first, and I'm going to let go of my mouse. And as you can see, it's going to download the asset, and that's going to be in that folder, that asset folder that it created when you selected your global directory. So as you can see, the sofa is in. And where is it? We have to click on this and move your mouse over to the outliner here and press period key, and you can see that it is placed in this collection here. And how do I start to navigate and move this guy around? Basically, my favorite way is to just select the entire collection, right click and press select objects, and basically everything is selected. I can just press R, Z, 90 degrees, and of course this is the wrong direction if that's how you want to do it. If you're going to put it this way, it's fine. If you're going to put it in the other way, just press R, Z, 180 again to flip it, or you can just press RZ and just move it wherever you want. Basically, most of the models have the pivot point on the floor right in the middle of the object, so it is really easy to use. You can basically put this anywhere you want, and the textures are all downloaded as well. As you can see, there is a material. So I'm going to stop right here and going to explain a bit more on the search function. So basically we just search for sofa, and we realize, when I do my middle mouse scroll this around, that's how you scroll this thing. Or you can press this button here with these arrows, and you may notice, for certain items it may be a bit limited, and that could be a reason why, which is when someone uploaded the model, they didn't call it sofa, instead they call it couch. So you're gonna have to search both ways. You have to find the alternate word for an item that you want, like maybe a rubbish bin could be called a waste paper basket, stuff like that. So you're gonna have to search for alternative words to try and find more stuff. And this has led to really great results for me. So just let you know, this search function has this issue. So do take note when you're searching for stuff, always think of alternate words for it. So this is really the end of this video, and in the next video we're gonna go through into more detail on what you can do with Blenderkit. And so right now, just knock yourself out, you know, add stuff, more stuff into the house, like ceiling lights. So for example, let's just search for ceiling lights, and I'm just gonna import this guy right here, ceiling lamp. I'm just gonna drag and drop in, and as you can see, it has already snapped onto the ceiling, or wherever, whichever wall you want to snap it onto. I'm going to snap onto the ceiling here, and it's downloading the asset. It's awesome. And as you can see, for this particular asset, there are different things. You know, you notice that these handles and this little cross here, which is called a locator. And some things on Blenderkit, really cool, they actually rigged it, so it's sort of a function where you can adjust the model by pulling around the handles. So for example, here this arrow down actually looks like it's an extender if you want to extend your model, and this has been rigged so that you can just click on and drag the handle without much worry of destroying the model. And if you see these crosses are basically locators, which the whole model is parented to, so you can actually just select this cross locator here and move your object around. So instead of going here, you know, right clicking, select objects and move everything, which is fine too, you can actually just select this locator itself and move your object, or even scale it. So yeah, this is basically the rough idea of how Blenderkit works. So do add on more stuff if you're interested. Maybe I'll just grab in an armchair. As you can see, just drag and drop it in, and voila, we have an armchair. And this one, as you can see, does not have a locator. So I'm just gonna select this guy, select objects, you know, rotate around, or even move it in the axis. It should be snapped to the floor or the table or wherever you snap to, so you don't really have to change it in the Z space, which is the up and down. So everything should be pretty much on the floor, good to go. And if you notice right here, it sort of created the chair within the previous collection that you were in, so you can just drag that out, and this should be its own. So make sure you tidy up your list of objects from time to time, because you know, the more stuff you drag in, the more longer this list is going to be. And you know, you don't want to be in the case where you select your ceiling lamp but you're actually selecting a bunch of chairs as well, which happened to me a lot because I'm quite messy with my stuff. So yeah, just knock yourself out, you know, add stuff, search for stuff, make sure that your free first is turned on. And if you want to save some, you know, computing space, just turn off the eye. It will actually load the whole Blender file much faster, because sometimes the eye actually uses the GPU to load stuff, and it's going to slow down quite a bit. So yeah, just knock yourself out and figure out what you want to put in your house. Just drag and drop. Make sure this free first filter is on, and we will go into depth on what to do next in the next video. Thank you.